What's going on, everybody? LT Dickey here. Now, with WrestleMania 32 being this Sunday, I figured we'd switch gears a bit and I would tell you my personal WrestleMania story. So, without further ado, here we go. Alright, so my personal WrestleMania story. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and the last time WrestleMania was held here was in 2002, WrestleMania 18. It was held at what is now the Rogers Center, but was then called the Skydome. My dad knew I was a big fan of professional wrestling. I grew up during the Attitude Era, the whole Austin McMahon, Triple H versus Rock in 2000. They were having some phenomenal matches. The 24/7 hardcore title rule. That'll tell you the type of wrestling I grew up watching. It was totally over the top and no holds barred, that sort of deal. My dad knew I was a big fan of professional wrestling, would watch it every day if I could, weekly, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, that sort of thing. And he offered to take me knowing that WrestleMania 18 was here in Toronto. The thing is, I said no. I'll tell you why. One, I'm disabled, and having cerebral palsy and having to use a walker to get around anywhere isn't easy, and the walker I have is fairly bulky anyhow, so it does take up a lot of room. And when you're moving around a giant stadium like the Skydome or the Rogers Center, whatever you want to call it now, or even then, there's 18 inches between seats, and I need to use that to move around with ease. And to not have it and having to put it somewhere, not the safest and or greatest idea for me, even in my opinion. And my dad was like, let's go, I'll buy tickets. And I said no. That was part of the reason. The other part really was I've never been, this also goes along with being disabled and having cerebral palsy, but I've never been comfortable being an audience member. Like performing in front of crowds, say in front of a camera or on a microphone on stage, that's fine because I'm not in the middle of the crowd. I'm not surrounded by people. That's the type of feeling that I just don't like. And being in the midst of, say, 67,000 or 70,000 people, however many thousands of people have attended WrestleMania 18, is not something that I was really looking forward to. I wasn't looking forward to being surrounded by that mass amount of people. So, I mean, I declined because he offered to spend that kind of money on me for my birthday because it wasn't that far removed from WrestleMania 18. My birthday actually is in the first week of April, and WrestleMania in 2002 was held on March 17th. So that was St. Patrick's Day that year. He offered to buy me tickets. I said no, and those are basically the main reasons, but I don't like being an audience member, being in the middle of crowds and having to watch and try and enjoy myself while being sandwiched between however many people, plus having to use a walker to get around. Not the easiest thing to do in any city, even in Toronto now in my daily life, it's not easy to maneuver and get around, but in a stadium setting where you've got a seat every 18 inches, it's really not practical. And I'm not saying I wouldn't have had fun. I'm just saying that crowds for me and having to maneuver and stay out of the way and try and not take up as much room as I need at the venue or anywhere is more paramount to me, and it makes me feel safer than anything else. Although WrestleMania 18 was a phenomenal card. You had The Rock versus Hogan. You had William Regal, RVD for the IC title, Christian and DDP for the European Championship, Kane, Kurt Angle. I mean, that card was amazing. I remember watching it at home, the pre-show too, and I loved it. Granted, it was a 4-hour pay-per-view and I had school the next day, but being 13 years old and in the tail end of 7th grade, I didn't care. I mean, I knew that WrestleMania was being held in my hometown. I loved it, and the card itself was awesome. Austin Scott Hall, that was on the card. Shane McMahon or no, that was the previous year. I'm thinking 2001, but 2002 was an awesome year, and it was an awesome WrestleMania in my opinion. You know, Rock Hogan, Scott Hall, and Stone Cold. Triple H, Jericho for the undisputed title. Kurt Angle, Kane, and the list goes on and on. There was RVD, William Regal, IC title. I think Booker T was on that card too. DDP Christian, European Championship, right before it was retired about a month and a half later. Super, super cool. A good card, a great event in my hometown of Toronto, Canada. Now, the WWE has run other pay-per-views since WrestleMania 18, but that was the last WrestleMania they held here. It would be nice to see it in Toronto again, although they just had Roadblock here a few weeks ago, and that was fine. I mean, it was at Rico, but to have another WrestleMania in Toronto, I think would just be fantastic. What do you guys think? What is your personal WrestleMania story? If you've got one, post it in the comments below. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. But I'm LT Dickey. That was my personal WrestleMania story. And until next time, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you later. We'll see you in the next one. I'm out of here. See you then. Bye. All right. So long. I'm done. All right. We'll talk to you later. Peace.